Hello, dear friends. In this video, we are going to see about hallucination in LLMs. So, I hope you have listened to the previous two videos. And in the end of the second video, we saw that LLM has an important limitation, that is hallucination. So, in this video, we are going to discuss about what is hallucination and how we can overcome the hallucination in LLM. And also, we are going to see about the different types of LLM in detail and when to use which LLM. So, and we are also going to see some more important terminologies which are used in LLM. So, let's start. So, first, what is hallucination? So, hope you have heard about this hallucination. Hallucination means we know that generative AI's main purpose is to generate new things. Which is not already available. So it is generating new things so that it is using its creativity. So all this is happening because it was trained in some it is pre-trained. As we saw in the previous video, it is pre-trained on lot of PDFs, web content, books. Based on this content, like for example, if I know some thousands of stories, when someone is asking me to give a new story, from my thousand story which I have already read, I can create a new story. That's how a generative AI is working. So in this case, what is hallucination means? Generative, when we are asking any questions using prompt to this generative AI, so it will be giving us the answer, but it seems to be like a correct answer with confidence. But actually, it is wrong. It may be a wrong answer. It is a made-up answer. It may not be a factual answer. So hallucination happens. Why? Because generative AI imagines an answer. Instead of knowing the fact, it is imagining. Already we discussed in the previous video how it is working means always it is predicting the next tokens, but it happens iteratively. So that's how we'll get the answer. So it is not going to verify whether the content generated by that is fact or truth. It doesn't know. It is actually predicting the next token by which we get the answer. So that's the reason why it may hallucinate. It is trying to give some answer by the probability of predicting the next token. So it is not purposefully lying, it is not intentional, but it is a side effect of how generative AI is working because it is going to predict the next token. Here is an example I have given. I have asked one of the generative AI LLM. I asked, can you give me 1456 Tirukural in Tamil? Actually, we know in Tirukural there is only 1330 Tirukural. But when I ask it, can you give me 1456 Tirukural? See here, it is giving me the answer. But actually, there is only 1330. So from this, you can understand whenever I'm asking a question, it is giving me the answer. It is not going and check whether it is true or it is fact or it is just predicting next token and it is giving to. So why do hallucination happens means already I told the reason because it is just predicting the next token based on the probability. That is the reason why it is predicting. It is not checking whether it is factually true or it is correct. It is not. For example, if I'm asking an LLM, like maybe it can be a ChatGPT or a Claude or a LLaMA or a Palm, whatever it may be. So I'm asking who is the inventor of internet in India means it is giving some answer, but seems to be like correct answer with confidence. Sometimes it may be factually wrong. So that's how we call it as hallucination. So there are many different types of hallucinations available. So one is factual hallucination. The fact itself, it can hallucinate. It gives some answer, but it may not be fact or real. So it may give wrong dates, wrong name, wrong definitions. So it like Newton discovered gravity within 1680. So actually, it may not be correct because it's just predicting the next tokens. That's how the generative AI is working. And the next type of hallucination is fabricated references. For example, if you are doing any research paper, you may be, or you are searching some books, you may be asking some books for reference. It will be very neatly and politely, confidently giving list of books and research paper. But if you go actually and if you see whether this book is available, sometimes it may not be available. So that is a fabricated reference. So reference itself, it will give a link. Sometimes it may not be available. If you click the link and if you go there, it may show 404 error or 404, something like that. So that is called fabricated reference. Next one is logical hallucination. So logical itself, see for example here, it is the reasoning itself sometimes may go wrong. But why the reason is because it is not actually logically thinking. It is just predicting the next token. So here I'm asking, since all birds can fly, penguin can fly. So it is not a proper logical reasoning, right? Penguins cannot fly. So that is one type of hallucination. So all these are different types of hallucination. We may be getting like overconfident answer. So answer A answer even when like it doesn't know. That is a problem. Information, if it is not having also it will answer. It doesn't know how to say no. It is not saying that I don't know the answer. So that is the problem of hallucination. So if you compare this generative AI model with this predictive model, which we discussed in the previous video, what is predictive model? It just do prediction or classification or analysis. So when you compare this predictive model with generative model, predictive model have always a fixed output. It doesn't hallucinate. But generative AI model is a open-ended output because it is generating a new imagined output, right? And then in predictive models, we choose from the known labels. We'll ask whether it is a cat or a dog. So it know when from this two it will give an answer. But in generative AI model, it's a creative, it creative one. It create new things. And then in predictive model, we have very less hallucination. But in generative AI model, there may be more hallucinations. For example, here is an example for predictive model. I can ask, is this email is a ham mail or a spam mail? So it can say yes or no. But how will you work with generative AI? I ask, explain why this email is spam means it may be giving answer, but it can also hallucinate. So, why hallucination cannot be eliminated? Because generative AI is trained to give some reasonable output, right? Next tokens, but it is not going and verify whether the content it generated is fact or true or not. Because generative AI is focusing only on fluency, but not on accuracy. Okay, so you might have understood what is hallucination and all. Now, how can we reduce this hallucination? So, first one is instruction tuning. So, we can instruct like if you don't know this, you just say I don't know. Like that, you can do instruction tuning so that if the model doesn't know the answer, it will know how to work for it. And the next one is reinforcement learning with human feedback. So here, human itself can correct if it is giving a wrong answer. That is one way of reducing the hallucination. Other mostly used way to avoid this hallucination is RAG. You might have heard about it. RAG means retrieval augmented generation. So here we can ground our LLM with an external resources like database, PDF, or some other verified documents so that the LLM can refer this external resources. That was retrieval augmented. We are augmenting some external resources to this LLM so that it can verify that attached document, that grounded document, and it can get the answer from that and then respond back. So using that way, you can also reduce the hallucination. So to increase the safety, you can use some models like Claude, or you can add some guardrails, and you can use conditional AI. So these are the different way by which we can able to reduce the hallucination. So as I already told you, RAG means it first find the correct answer. Not only using the content from where it learned, or it's not only using the pre-trained content. It can also get the correct information. So that is the actual use of RAG. So RAG means retrieval. Retrieval means it is going to search for the relevant information, correct information, and then that information added to the prompt, and then it will be given to the LLM. The LLM will be answering as a human like way. So that is what the actual purpose of RAG. So without RAG is like an example is student may be answering the exam from the memory only. So if so that is like without RAG. Sometimes if they don't know the answer, they may guess the answer and they may give any answer they want. That is what without RAG. And with RAG means it is like open book text test. So if the student doesn't know the correct answer, they can read the correct page and they get the answer, and then they may be giving the correct answer. That is what an example analogy we can use for with rag. So without rag means they don't, if we don't, they can just like answer anything. But with rag means they find the proper answer and then answering. So that is what the rag means. Okay, so I hope you got what hallucination means and how to overcome it. So now we are going to discuss about different large language models. So in the previous video also I have given some introduction. So now we are going to see little more uh, detail about this LLMs. So there are many different LLMs available like Palm, Llama, Claude, and different versions of Claude. So not all LLMs are same. Every LLMs have different goals, different purpose. It can be like in the way of speed, safety, openness, and reasoning. So here I have listed some four LLMs like GPT. So if I want to shortly say when you can go for GPT model is whenever you want the general purpose answer, you can go for GPT. When you can go for PALM is whenever you want a strong reasoning, correct factual information, and mathematical calculations. In all those cases, you can go for this PALM. LLaMA, whenever you want a model which needs to be customized or to be little more domain specific, or you want to do some fine tuning based on your particular domain, you can go for LLaMA. So it's an open source and it can be customized. That's specialty of LLaMA. And the next one is Claude. And whenever you want to do an application which follows all the safety measures, follow the ethics, in all those cases, and also if you want to understand a long document, maybe a big textbook, and from that, if it needs to answer some questions, in that case, you can go for Claude. So this is a small outline of different LLM. Let's see a little more in depth. So PALM is Google's product. It stands for Pathway Language Model. 2 means version number 2. So it is like like basically made for logical thinking. It can able to solve maths problems. It can understand many languages as well. So it is like uh, uses less computation power. It will give better reasoning and works with many languages like Hindi, Malayalam, or many language. We'll see that. So these are some of the key strength of Palm. So it is strong at maths, logic, step-by-step answering. So if I give a problems like this, it can able to give a proper answer. So that is the speciality of POM. And the another specialty of POM is like it is a multilingual capability. So it is trained more than 100 plus language, so it can understand Hindi, Tamil, Spanish, and all English. So it is useful for global applications. So whenever you are making a generative application which could be able to understand multilingual language, multilingual, then you can go for this kind of LL. And it is also a smaller model and it will be giving a better performance as well. So these are the speciality of this form. So whenever according to your need to make an application, you can choose it. So the main specialty is it's mathematically good and it also multilingual. And the next one is LLaMA. So LLaMA stands for Large Language Model Meta AI. It is the product of Meta AI and it's developed by Meta Facebook. And it is a model that anyone can use for studying, modifying. Unlike closed model, like for example, it is open source, so anyone can access it. They can fine tune it. That is a specialty of LLaMA. So if you want to compare this LLaMA with the closed model means you cannot see the internal working functionality. But LLaMA, since it is an open model, then you can have the full access of it. And the closed model means we cannot customize it. There will be a limitation for it. But LLaMA, since it is open source, we can able to fine tune. Fine tuning as allowed. And closed model means it is always API dependent. But LLaMA means you can locally deploy it. You can do the customization, everything. So these are the features of LLaMA. Since it is open source, researchers can use it, university can use it. You can able to download it, you can fine tune it, and then run it according to your application demand. So you can even use it for the startups also. So, for example, if I want to make a chatbot which needs to be so focused on medical data, so I can able to train it or customize it based on medical textbook or legal documents. So this is possible with Llama too. And then if you to speak about the model size, we have different size of Llama like 7 billion parameters or 13 billion parameters, 70 billion parameters. So depending upon the application which you are generating, accordingly you can go for the different model size. So small model means it will be faster and it is also lightweight. Larger model means the advantage is more intelligence and it also need more resources as well. And since Llama model is open-ended, you can able to fine-tune it, as I told you, to a particular domain specific. If I want a chatbot for agriculture, I can customize it for that. If I want a chatbot for college related or if I want to develop an application for college related product, I can take it and fine tune it. I can also use it for research experiments also. Llama 2 is an open source language model done by this Meta. So it could also support research, fine tuning, and even we can deploy it locally. So these are some of the specialities. And so I hope you got some idea about Llama. So the specialty is it's the main important specialty is you can able to customize it. The next one is Claude. So it is a product of Anthropic. And the main important focus of this Claude is it is AI safety, ethics is followed here. It is a responsibly, it has a responsibly AI behavior. So it is basically designed to honest and harmless. And it is following some set of rules like constitution. Since it is using those rules, it can able to make sure the safety, it can make sure the ethics and all. So AI is learned to correct itself using the principles. There is the no need of a human intervention. So if you ask harmful questions to this Claude, the Claude will refuse to answer. It will explain it politely, even though we use harsh words to it. So this two means it is a version number. So it is a safety focus. So it is also another specialty of this Claude is it can be working with a very large documents also. So that is another important specialty. So Claude 2 is fastest water. Also, it can handle the very large document. So GPT is for shorter readers. Claude means it is like a full textbook reader. So the major strength of this is its window size is long and it could able to read the entire book, long research paper. It can able to read the legal documents at a stretch. So it can able to use up to 1,000 K of tokens. Okay, so if you compare this different models, so I hope you got it. So the specialty of Claude 2 is it is a smarter and faster version as well as its focus on safety, following the ethics, following the set of rules like constitution. So here is a comparison. So when can you go for prompt? Whenever you want to do some mathematical related works and also whenever you want some reasoning and you want to work with multilingual and you can go for that. And that time we can go for prompt. And whenever you want a customized application development, you can go for Llama since it is an open source model. And Claude is for basically for safety and considering the ethical conversation. Claude 2 is basically for long documents. GPT-2 is make like a small reader. Maybe Claude 2 can understand a long document, long legal document, something like that. So if you want to build a chatbot for a hospital, which model will you choose? So you can think about it some based on the discussion we have made. So Claude means you can think safety, Llama means you can customize. So like this, you can think about it. So here is a short summary of all the model. So GPT means it is a general model. It can answer for any questions, explain the concept, making a general answer. But if you go for prompt, it is good at max multilingual. So here is an example for that. And then next one is we saw, okay, I hope the summary, okay. So this is like some real life examples. If you want to write an email, general content and all, you can go for ChatGPT. Coding means you can go for Copilot. Translation, since Prom is good at multilingual, you can go for Prom. Research summary, Claude is good, right? You can able to read large document. college chatbot, you can go for a llama because you can able to customize it. Okay. So how this, so I hope you got the different idea about all this different LLM models and when to use what. And now let's see about GPT. It is also one of the generative AI LLM model. So GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So GPT is a large language model. It could able to generate text by predicting the next word. That is the basic of all this. So depending upon the previous context, it could able to predict the next word. So generative means it will be creating a new text. Pre-trained means it has been trained with large data, maybe books, maybe web content, PDFs. Transformer means it use transformer architecture. In the previous video also I have told transformers the specialty is self-attention. So that is you. Together we call it as GPT. So this here is a step-by-step working of GPT. So first, whenever we give an input, for example, that we say as a prompt. So user is giving artificial intelligences. So now it want to give the answer. So what does it do when we give a prompt is, so it will be doing the tokenization. So what is tokenization means it will be dividing or breaking your this text into tokens. So tokens can be in any form. So that is also discussed in a previous video. So it is like artificial intelligence is. So these are the different tokens. And now what happens after it is dividing the input into so many tokens, it is going to convert those each tokens into numerical format. So those numerical format, we call it as vectors, and that is the embedding. Now, since it is a numerical format, comparing with it with other content is very easy and so accurate. That is the specialty of this. So the next thing is, so after we do the tokenization, and doing the embedding. Embedding means converting every tokens into the numerical format. Then we do the transformer processing. What is the basic specialty of transformer model is using self-attention. So what is self-attention means it will look at the all previous tokens together so that it can understand the context very well. Using that concept is a self-attention. So since it understands the context very well, using the self-attention mechanism, it could able to give the right word. So it will decide what will be the next word. So that is how it works. So the next token is predicted. So transform model is self-attention. So it can understand which other words are important and which what is the relationship between other words. Once it understands the context very well, it could able to predict the next token. So what we gave as an input, artificial intelligences. What can be the next word? So it has predicted artificial intelligences. The next word it given is changing. So this changing will be added to the label. And next is we have to find the next target word. So now the input is artificial intelligence is changing. So now I want to predict the next word. What will be the predict? So this iterative process will be happening again and again. And then it will be predicting changing the. So this continues. Why it will be predicting the next token. So this is what this is how the basic principle working on this models. And then auto-aggressive generation means the output token is added back to the input and it will keep on predicting the next token. So this is called auto-aggressive generation. Generate a new token and add back to the input and again predict the next token. So this is how we get the output. So I hope you got the how actually a normal GPT model or LLM is working. And the next one is some important terminologies we are going to see in this context. So the first one is pre-training. So every LLM models are pre-trained. So pre-trained means we are going to teach the model how the language is working. Before we give or before we ask for it to generate a new content, we are training the model with so many content. So that is what pre-training means. So learning the general language patterns, its grammar, the writing style, everything is already pre-trained. So from large amount of unlabeled text. So this is called pre-training. So like as usual, we do training of a model. So how pre-training will be happens means the model will read many books, articles, website, code. So since it is trained in so many things, like if I want to make a model which could give a new story means because it has already read lot of stories. So that is what pre-training is. Pre-training. So it was given with input like how story will be looking, how it be dramatical and all these things. So since it has pre-trained, then it can able to do any other task. So task is predict the next token. So for example, if I'm giving the earth revolves around the, so it predict the next token. So based on pre-training already happened. So it has huge volume of data, right? So from the available data from the books, articles, website, it can able to give which will be the next word which is more suitable for this particular input. So, what are the importance of pre-training? So, pre-training will teach the model the grammar, the facts, the reasoning patterns, also how to explain it and give the answer back, and what will be the programming syntax if it is a Java or if it is a Python or if it is a C, whatever may be the language, what could be the programming syntax, all can be taught or during the pre-training. That is what the pre-training means. So, pre-training means learning from the already given resources. Fine tuning means how to making it to learn to the other specific domain. So after pre-training, the model knows the language, but it is not its specific. So that's if you want to be if it want to be specific, then we have to go for fine tuning. So after pre-training, so basic general all information will be fed to the model in the pre-training. Then if I want a model to be performed so specific, then I can go for fine tuning. I can make it specific for a particular applications like a hospital or agriculture or whatever it may be. The next thing is tokenization. So tokenization means previously I discussed, right? Tokenization means it is going to divide the input into so many small many tokens. It can be a small pieces. So for example, if I have a sentence like unhappiness, the tokening can be happiness. So all these are tokens. So here already I showed a token like if artificial intelligence is given, how it can be token nice artificial is a token, intelligence is a token. So there is many way we can able to do the tokenization. So what is the importance of tokenization? So it can well understand the vocabulary, it can able to handle new words, a rarest word also, because it can understand it very clearly like this, unhappiness. So it can understand unhappiness. So it can clearly understand the core meaning of a particular word. That is the speciality why that is the reason why we do the tokenization, and it is also impact for its cost, speed, and accuracy. So tokens are the real input to the model, not as a whole text. Okay, the next important terminology is scaling. So why we want scaling means we want to make our model bigger, training in more data and using it more powerful. So there are three types of scalings available. One is model size. So we can increase the number of parameter to train the model. We can use more number of neurons, more capability. For example, small size model means it will be good at answering the basic questions, but large model means it will be good for reasoning. And the next one is data size also. So we can have more training data, and also we can train on more different application, diversity of application like agriculture, industry, medicine. So it can be of many kind also. Likewise, we can able to scale. So how much we scale, that much the performance would be. So modern generative AI success in large because of the scaling, because of not because of the algorithm, because of the scaling, because of the model size, because of the data size it is using, because of its computational power. The next important thing is conditioning. So conditioning means it is we are going to say to the model how it want to answer our questions. So without conditioning, how will it give answer? I'll be asking, okay, explain neural network. But with conditioning, I'll give some condition. That is what the meaning of conditioning. I am going to give the condition for making the model to respond in such a way. So I'm going to, with condition, I'm going to say, explain the neural network in simple words for first year. So what are the condition I have used here? I am saying in simple words. Also, I am saying it for first years. So these are the conditioning. So there are types of condition. I can give instruction-based conditioning, role-based conditioning, format-based conditioning. So these are some of the conditioning. So let me give some examples so that you will understand more clearly about conditioning. First one is instructions. So I'm saying the instruction, explain in simple words. So it is a instruction-based conditioning. And then I'm saying the role, or in what role you have to explain this. I can say, as a student, you explain it, or as a teacher, you explain it, or as a physician, you explain it. So I'm specifically saying the role also. That is a conditioning. And the format. In what format I want the answer? Do I want the answer as a para, or I want the answer as a bullet points. So this is what the format based conditioning. So same model. See, here I have given explain neural network. The answer which it give for this and also the answer which give for this both will differ. So same model only, but it will differ. It will give different behavior when we change the prompt. So that is very, very important. So conditioning is very important. Finally, text to image. Let us take a model. So now we all learn about LLM models, text to text models. We saw the terminologies and we saw about the hallucination. Now finally, let us end it with text to image model. So here, what is the specialities? By taking the input text, it want to generate an image. So how does it do? So already we learned about the working of any model. So how a model will be working? Whenever you give any input, it will take the input and do the tokenization, convert it into embeddings, that is a numerical format, then give it to the transformer processing, that is self-attention mechanism will be working on it to understand the context, and then it will be answering, predicting the next token, and this will be repeated. So that is what the working we already learned. So when I give a text to image model, here also the text will be taken and it will be tokenized, it will be encoded, which means embeddings, and then the image is generated step by step. So noise will be gradually removed. So finally, we get an image. For example, I'm giving a prompt. I want an image of a cat sitting on a laptop. So the model will take cat, okay, to understand cat, and it will generate an animal shape. Then laptop, okay, rectangular object, sitting. Then it give a posture. So likewise, it will understand each and everything, and for that, it will be generating a image. So this is how the model will be working. So I hope you got it from this video. So we saw in this video about what is hallucination, how to avoid hallucination, and different types of LLMs available, when to use which LLM, and also we learned about the important terminologies which we use here in this generative AI. So pre-training we learn, tokenization we learn, scaling we learn, condition we learn. Hope you got it. Thank you for listening. God bless you.